everybody. Welcome to the Game Master Talkback with our own Clint Black, the creator of Necessary Evil and Game Master Extraordinaire from last night's date night game. Welcome, Clint.
Hi, thank you.
So last night was a lot of fun. So if you guys didn't catch it, and gals didn't catch it already, last night we started the Necessary Evil 3 season with an actual play and called Date Night, and you had two couples as players, and Christian and Jennifer, and Adam and Diana, and it was an awesome stream with some superhero action, some super villain action. So for those of you unaware, okay. Necessary Evil is a great setting where you have to take the role of a super villain who has to become an unlikely superhero to save the world from an alien invasion, and it's all good stuff. So the action play was fun, and it was for a good cause. So, as we mentioned in the stream last night, we were raising money for the MS Society, and I think it was over $1,700 we raised, which is a pretty amazing number. And that was so awesome. I think we're going to keep the fundraising going until the end of the month. At least we'll get a newsletter in so folks can know that we're doing it. And but because folks hit the $1,000 threshold, you got pied in the face, sir.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah. We did that before we even started. It was like as soon as somebody said, we'll put a pie in Clint's face, suddenly we broke $1,000.
Yeah, there was an awesome donor who I think we were like at 500, and then someone was like, boom, here's another 5. I said, wow.
Yep. So, yeah, I know who that donor was, and I will be looking for him.
Call me. We'll send you product, man. It's great.
That's right.
Yeah, so we really appreciate all your generosity, and we will show the clip of Clint getting pied in the face because, I mean, why not just start with that, right? That's what people want to see. Yeah.
And I'm sure Chris will play it again and again and again.
It's going to live in perpetuity. It is just wonderful.
Yeah.
It was also Clint's birthday, so happy birthday plus a day. So now you're just old, right? Like yesterday was your birthday, now you're just older.
Yeah.
So, let's play the little quick getting the pie in the face because, so that's the thing too. So, for those of you who are excited about having tag people get pies in faces, like whether it's, you're really excited about helping out MS or you like charities or you want a tax write-off for next year because you realize you didn't max out your tax benefit write-offs this last year when you paid your taxes on Monday, whatever it is, we have opportunities for more people to get pied. So I think Christian Serrano and Adam Kahn are agreed to get pied if we hit 2,000. And then me. So if you want to see me get pie in the face, and Jody and Donald Shepis, we are agreed that if we hit 3,000 for the MS charity, we will also get pied. So there's lots of pies to go around, folks. But the original, the best, Clint.
And we really appreciate everything you guys have done, all the donations, just being here watching, having fun, enjoying the game. And here's what you get for it.
Yes. Yes. Love it, Jody. Love it. Oh, yeah. That's the payoff right there. It's good look, good look.
Wait, is that White Skull? Is that who that is?
Oh my God. Keep on adding
all the skulls.
Eyelash free.
Yeah.
Let's go switch his dad.
This is
glorious. So, with that wonderfulness, we'll talk more about. We have a late entry, a surprise guest, Christian Serrano. Sir, welcome.
Hey.
So you're on deck, sir, to get pied next. Should we get under $250? I think $255, $245. I think it's somewhere in there.
something like that. Yeah, we're close. It'll happen, I'm sure.
And Christian can enjoy the. So Clint, like you got some cream up in those nostrils, sir. Like, how many seconds were we away from like too little oxygen?
Oh, we were very close to tapping out. Jody thought apparently I had taken a deeper breath than I had, and she just held it there. And I was, as I told her, I was very close to aspirating some cream in my nose, holding it there. And she just pushed it so much that it just, I can close my mouth. I can't close my nose, Oh,
kind of. I mean, that's a sign of either a healthy marriage or a very dysfunctional one. Like, is she trying to kill you, or you just love each other so much? But the look on Jody's face was worth the entirety of the process that we had to go through.
I mean, she was as happy as if I had rolled a crit fail. saying something to Jody.
And there were some good crit fails last night. Christian Serrano, chief among getting them.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
That was the worst.
We wouldn't have had crit fails so much if it weren't for Christian.
That's
I
right.
mean, Diana's dice, Adam's dice, they were doing fantastic. I think, did Jen get one? Maybe. If not, it was
Maybe,
all
yeah.
Christian. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I aim to please.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
That was
great game last night. Thank you, Clint, by the way, for that. And yeah, it was absolutely incredible. I'm sorry, 1 second.
And thanks for your donation, Knights of the Dinner Table. You couldn't stay, but we definitely thanked you on stream. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
Thank you
That
all.
was my daughter asking if she could have some key lime pie. The important things.
So where do you get your key lime pie? Like the only place around here I can get key lime is like Village Inn. I don't know if you guys have those the rest of the country. But.
So we have, I don't know if you have Publix out in Colorado. Publix grocery store, it's kind of a southeast thing. And they have the best bakery ever. Like it's just amazing and it's consistent. Every Publix you go to, it's absolutely, they have the best cakes. It's like you just can't go wrong with a Publix cake. And they also have amazing subs, by the way. No better subs anywhere else. Yeah. And so they have a bakery and they have amazing pies there that are great for any occasion, including a pie to the face. So.
Well, we're glad we saved your key lime so your daughter can have some. But
yes.
There's still time. There's still time, folks. I'm going to throw the link in the chat. I think I got a little banner here. I'll actually throw this link in the chat so folks can click on it. But we are still raising money for the MS Society. You guys have all been amazing. $1,745 so far, which is great. So not too much more. And Christian and Adam have both agreed to get pied. And that's,
yes.
I mean, I've always wanted to just, shove a pie in your face, Christian. And I'm sure you want to see me get pied. So hopefully we'll not only get to 2,000, but we'll get to 3,000. And, we can meet up at like Dragon Con next year and do a whole like new pieing. Like,
yeah. We'll just have a big pieing party.
That's right.
It's really great.
We got to make sure that it's like there's no innuendo there, like actual pies, people. This is
actual
not a reference to something else. It's not sketchy. It's
that's right.
I mean, sketchy diabetic wise, but otherwise it's completely healthy.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
that's
not
right.
all are lactose intolerant, but people have lactose free options for folks who,
Right.
Yeah, something for everybody. So as far as the game went, I am here not simply to hear people tell me we did a great job or whatever, but also to hear back what we could do better on these things. Should this happen again at some point in time? And also, if anybody had any questions about the game last night or anything that happened, I will let you guys in on a secret. We'll start with this. After the game was over and we were behind the scenes, the players kept role-playing.
Yes.
Secrets were revealed.
Secrets were
revealed.
Yeah, it was. Well, what was really cool is like, and Clint, I got to give you credit for this. The amount of detail you went into with our characters beforehand, in terms of backstory, like what had happened since the Thicker Than Water story and things like that. It was absolutely amazing, and we had each of us had our own little secrets that nobody else knew about, or maybe a couple people knew about. Mm-hmm. None of it came up. Or barely came up during play.
Barely came up, yeah.
So afterward, we had to we had to get it out of our system and role play it through. It was great though.
Yeah, the only secret that came up was actually Dead Eyes, which I think Adam did by mistake actually, because he mentioned the fact of meeting masks that had been in his old team.
That's right.
Where the fact that he had been a superhero who had gone undercover as a supervillain before the invasion was supposed to be secret.
Right.
And it was that was part of that. Like Country Gaming ND says it was that was part of kind of Deadeye's thing, and then of course the fact that in the character backstory, whatever, he kind of got to where he was respecting these people.
Yeah.
And of course, then the relationship with Slash started. And so his secret was on date night. That was the thing, is date night was supposed to be a big night for all of them. He was going to tell her the truth. She was going to be the first one that he was going to tell, before he told the rest of the group, what the truth was. And that was the thing. And of course, one of Iron Skull's secrets was that he's known all along.
Right, that's what I was trying to figure out how to react when it came up. You
Yeah.
know, when he kind of revealed, because I'm like, how do I react to this? And I don't even know if that was necessarily even there when it happened, because I don't think he did it over the comms. I think he said it in person, and I was down in the wine cellar, I think, or something like that. I don't remember, but
I
was like,
think he
what?
might have done it over the comms,
Did
and
he?
I think
Yeah.
you did react with a, I think it was because they were bickering
Oh, the chatter.
over him.
Yeah,
That's right, over him going up with
right.
the other woman. Yeah, that he's a chatter guys. That's what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah,
Let's keep the comm links clear, or the comms clear.
yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible. Yeah, there was some incredible role playing throughout, and oh my god, and that last battle was amazing. Like the damage that was being dealt was incredible. Yeah.
So everybody who's here is going to get a special kind of behind the scenes thing that even the players did not get last night at the end of it,
Ooh.
which we had that little end scene at Pepperoni the Pizza Ogres, which is the Necessary Evil version of like a Chuck E. Cheese that no one wants to go to but the children, really. And the part that would have come in after that, we were just running so tight and there was so much to do. But was that Tessa would have asked Oscar how he was able to get her armor to play that music.
Oh,
She didn't do it.
she didn't do it. Oh, that's a nice little seed
Yep.
you planted there. I see what you did. All right.
And
That
that's
has
so-
like layers like an onion.
Oh, yeah.
There's many of them, and they're deep. They just make you cry every time you get to a new one.
Yeah.
That's really
I was
cool.
like, at the end of the session, I was like once we all signed off and everything, I was literally sad because I was like, I want to keep going with this story. There was so much cool stuff coming up. And
yeah, y'all should know. I got a text after I got home from Christian, like, I want to keep going. It's like, dude, it's like 12:30 at night. Go to bed. You know?
I didn't mean last night. I just meant, yeah. But yeah, that was, yeah. I mean, hey man, if you want to keep running that campaign, I'll keep, going down that path and that story. It's pretty amazing. So
You guys did great, and I will say that scenario. I tried to give everybody had like their secrets to kind of have their own hooks in there, but they went with other things and they took them. And I'm not. It's not something forced on them. If they want to do it, that's what they want to do. But I did say in the other interviews, it's like, oh, I'm going to be raking Christian through the coals. There's going to be a lot on this one, you know. And I did try to hit those, with like.
the photos, the photos around the computer. Oh my! I was literally getting choked up. That was intense. That was really intense. And the thing about Iron Skull is, it's that whole, he's got this sort of schism in his own emotional view of his family, right? So it's like, and then like these photos of him and Maggie, who he's now with, and his brother hanging out at the beach and things like that. It's just, it's got to rattle him, Yeah.
Oh, you even got John, no soul, doomed to cry a little bit.
No soul. Right.
John and I are like twins. We're playing Valheim offline, and we just compare notes, and it's like we finish each other's sentences. We have the same philosophy in life. It's crazy.
Oh, brothers from another mother,
right? Twinsies.
Yeah.
And but so Clint, I wanted to ask you, kind of bringing up like what Christian mentioned. So Necessary Evil is. There's a twist on the superhero genre. Like, you're not playing superheroes. You start out as supervillains. That's a really awesome twist. I think because I just think the way they write supervillains is more interesting than superhero. A lot of superheroes are kind of educational for kids or other people as like pure values. They represent kind of very solid goodness in a way that there's not a whole lot of conflict internally or whatever. At least some do. Maybe more DC than Marvel, but whatevs. Whereas villains usually have to be complex, right? Because you got to get away with being a villain but not having society crush you right away. So there's going to be some kind of, interesting part there, and also just kind of you have to make a villain interesting, so the superheroes have some interesting stories to tell, and beating them up and taking them down and stuff. So, how is that different? Designing a setting, a campaign, and characters when you're there's this villainy aspect that you're still hoping to make sure it's not just evil, but it's interesting to play and interesting to have campaigns. How is that different than running a regular campaign where it's kill evil things and take their money or whatever?
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean that was part of the inspiration that came about for Necessary Evil originally was the whole thing of how do you make a campaign where you could get to play supervillains, and the reason for that is, I mean, you ask any actor, it's like I'd rather play the villain. The villain is more interesting. There's more depth to that. Why do they make this choice? And there's also the old story of no villain thinks they're the villain of the story.
Right.
That they have that. And we have a thing in Necessary Evil where we say evil, not psychotic.
That's true. There's a box in the page 3.
There's a box text on that of, this isn't the point. It's not, I mean, and so, the original Necessary Evil I came up with the idea of there's an alien invasion. All the other heroes are gone. The aliens are smart. That's why they won. And they're psychic. So it's like, oh, well, I'm going to, betray humanity just to go over and try to get in good with the aliens. But I'd screw them over in a heartbeat too. And the aliens are going to go, yeah, we read your mind. We know you're going to do that. So what we're going to do? We're going to dissect you and figure out how you got these powers. That's weird, So it didn't work out so well for those guys who tried that, and so it was an idea of setting that up and then having the idea of a resistance just works well because you've got cells. You're typically independent because you don't want to reveal who else is in, working in there. And it ended up working out great. And again, it's that thing of it provides the opportunity to get depth for those kind of characters, which I think we've seen so much more, especially recently in media, like cases where you have quote unquote villains of the superhero movies where they're not exactly, they may cross the line, but maybe their reasons aren't villainous. I mean, the premier example would be the first Black Panther movie. I mean, where his whole thing was Wakanda needs to stop hiding and get out and actually change the world because they can, and his methods, not so great. Right. But by the end, he's convinced, T'Challa, yeah, that is what we should do, I think that's a lot to it to be able to play that and have that depth. But I will say, I've had players send me actual play where they were just super villains throughout the entire campaign, straightforward. We used to have on the forums a guy who they posted write-ups of every campaign story, and it was hilarious because it was all from the leader's point of view, going to therapy with the therapist he had kidnapped.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's like taking the Sopranos, and there was another one, movie, right, where it's Sopranos came out. And just taking it one step further, like you're not a mobster going to you're a mobster who's kidnapped.
Actually, I think he had kidnapped the therapist's family. And so the therapist occasionally interjects with, "Are they okay? Yes, they're fine. Now about me, let me talk about my feelings."
That's awesome.
It was a great series of storylines, and the characters, they made these great interconnected characters where some of them were like, one was an attempt to clone the main villain, but he used some of his scar tissue to get the DNA, so he ended up with this Hulk-like thing made of scar tissue. Wow. And and that was what one of the characters played, the super strong. I think he was actually just called Scab.
Yeah.
And it's like, or Scar or whatever it was.
Scars are cool. Scabs are gross.
Yeah, right. But he played through. I mean, they played through that way, and they stuck with that, and that was great. At the end of it, they're planning. I mean, they're going through the entire plot point campaign. It's completely functional, but their plan is how do they take over the Earth when the aliens are gone? It's still being the supervillain. I want to rule the Earth and everything. And
That's exactly
was-
what my party did after they finished Necessary Evil at the end. It was, all right, I'm the new Dr. Destruction, and they all had like their little domains and whatever. It was and we had always put it on the hanger just in case we ever came back to pick up from that point, but we never did. But yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah.
Clip told me before, she was like, let's talk about Necessary Evil 3, not Necessary Evil N plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 5, whatever. I want to add one on the end now that we... Necessary Evil 2032. Got some time. Get in development. Got some time to get smart. When the superheroes actually come back and then retake the planet from the supervillains.
Well, actually, I mean, you can see a preview for that because that's what Doomguard is.
Wait.
Doomguard is the Necessary Evil world after the end of the invasion in the Superpowers Companion. That is the Necessary Evil world after the fact when new heroes have risen. There are still a lot of villains, but there's also, worse things out there. And that's why one of the setups for Doomguard is that Doomguard has an artificial intelligence that figures out where there will be crises that have to be dealt with because they've learned the fact of we have to be prepared for things like the invasion.
So they just get on like Chat GPT and then like type in like where will the next crisis be, and chat.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
And then Necessary Evil N plus 3, 5, whatever can be. Oh my God, the evil AI took over and we need to like crush the AI.
Supers against robots. That'd be awesome.
I mean,
there's so many legs for this property, Clint. I don't think you realize when you create it that there's like it's almost endless of like. Old guard worse than the new guard worse than the old guard, whatever. I mean,
I have a preference for one I would love to do, and it is not on the docket, guys. Don't think that it is, but I would like to do the Necessary Evil 1930s, the first masked superheroes and villains story that kind of connects to the story of the first masked superhero and supervillain who were the villain. It was the 30s. We didn't have a lot of creativity, and the vigilante, the villain and the vigilante who were the first masked, people in that thing. And so I would like to go back and kind of tell a story related to that with lower power, gang wars, those kind of things, more street, pre-Star City. A grittier storyline, very the shadow oriented, and things like that. But also,
the art direction would be so fantastic for that.
Oh yeah,
it's like deco inspired costumes.
Yeah, all the fedoras and overcoats you could ever want.
Overcoats came up last night as like an underutilized.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, in the original playtest for Necessary Evil, that was a trope that one of my players and I talked about, and he went with so strong, and I just loved it. Was there's a guy who's like 7 feet tall and weighs 600 pounds, but as long as he's wearing an overcoat and a fedora, nobody pays any attention to it. So he like built this character, but did not take the distinctive features hindrance. So as long as he had his stuff on, nobody noticed that he looked different from everybody else. It's just, that guy's a little tall. He's he's like taller than the door.
I mean, that'd be funny just doing a kind of I'm always on the parody train, doing a parody adventure where it's superheroes during a pandemic, and so everyone's wearing masks and pajamas anyways. No one notices that you're a costume superhero. It's like what, whatever. Like, everyone's wearing masks and pajamas, like whatever. So Clint, tell us, since we are kicking off Necessary Evil 3 very, very soon on Game Changer, hopefully. Where does Necessary Evil find the story? So like if necessary, you're welcome to give a little background on what Necessary Evil 1 and 2 are, because we are also re-releasing those for Suede, so people can pick those up. But yeah, tell us where is the story so far that and then what is Necessary Evil 3 about?
Yeah. So Necessary Evil 3 is our cosmic level one. If you have the new Superpowered Companion, which all of these are going to be based off of, the new Suede version of the Superpowered Companion, it's power level 5. It's from 1 to 5 is where we go. They're at the top of the list. And you are still playing supervillains in this, just like the other ones. That's part of Necessary Evil. And it's post in canon storyline. Theoretically, the villains of Earth being successful and booting the Visori and completing that plot point campaign, and after that, it does. It's galactic level, traveling to different planets, doing things like that. I mean, it's spaceship travel, stuff of that nature. It does touch on coming back to visit Earth. I think at some point, a little bit of a spoiler there, but it's kind of understood. It's not so much a huge spoiler. It's a matter of like any good plot point campaign, really, when the players choose to maybe go that direction if they want to. But it doesn't even require the characters to have connections to the planet for this. But there, so you've got you got to touch on that, but it does follow the timeline, kind of bringing it up to date a little bit. So you are dealing with an Earth that's very post the invasion and mostly recovered, so to speak, by the time I think we get to this level. Now, invasion, which is the name of the first necessary evil, we're going by invasion to distinguish it from the other ones. That follows 3 years after the invasion of Earth. That's what you guys saw last night. You're playing the Resistance. And then Necessary Evil 2 Breakout actually takes place, I think, about a year prior to that. The aliens have still taken over, but at the time they're using Manhattan Island as a prison, and your villains are trying to escape that prison. So it still is that, but 3 is definitely playing a little catch up. It's a little. We discussed it a little bit last night. It's like the invasion happened on January 1st, 2001 in storyline. So Necessary Evil Invasion actually starts in 2004. So you kind of have to feel free to have all the anachronisms you want in your game, but Cosmic Confrontation Crisis, I'm forgetting right now, is going to catch us up more, to the current times.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
So Christian, have you played all the Necessary Evils, or was last night's actual play your first endeavor?
So I've run the original plot point campaign when they re-released it for their Explorers Edition. I bought Breakout. I've never had an opportunity to run it yet, so I'm going to buy it again for Suede.
And we appreciate every dollar of that.
Right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why I do it. Yeah. So I would like to do Breakout at some point, especially before getting to the new one that's coming out. But yeah, I loved running the original, and I think, God, the players were so great in that campaign, and even the hindrances. I had one who was a speedster, and her quirk was that she couldn't sit still. So literally at the table, she would be tapping the table, or shaking her leg, or constantly fidgeting, and and it was just to bring that to the space that we're actually sitting in, which is but there are just so many cool things that I think you can do with especially now with power stunts. So many cool things that you can do with superpowers and synergy and things like that. And it's and of course, being a supervillain gives you an excuse to make it okay to destroy public property. So
that's right.
I mean, it kind of is more fun, right? And I think that kind of gets back to I think as a little kid, I really liked kind of the more DC comic heroes. They just felt like I had no idea why Marvel was even competitive. And then as an adult, I'm like, wait a minute, Marvel's got all the shades of gray. And it's something like, I think Superman, it's cool as a little kid when you want to aspire to be a Superman because you're scared of the world, right? You're scared of getting hurt or of other people. And so being a Superman means you can't be hurt. So you can do all the cool things. But then it's as an adult, you realize man, there's so much more storytelling with kind of more, broken, realistic kind of characters who are a little more relatable than I mean, I think Superman people are like the story about Superman is like, oh, it's about his connection with humanity, and that's the part he struggles with and whatever. And I'm like, not my problem. I have none. But
my favorite comic back in the 80s and 90s was or early 90s, the Justice League International and all the spin-offs, because it was it felt more like the kind of party you would have at a game table. Like back then I didn't realize that that's what it was. And it was just like they're just normal people doing dumb normal things, and of course having to go out and adventure, and with all their dramas.
They just happen to have superpowers,
right?
Part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the Keith Giffen era Justice League. He did a bunch of great funny stuff, and created one of my favorite Green Lanterns, Nort.
Yeah.
Yep. Nort. So obviously huge comics fan, superhero RPG fan, which is why you find some of our characters in here named after superhero RPGs and Necessary Evil. Some ones. Yes, but they had a write-up in like the handbook of the DC universe for Nort, and it's like they're interviewing him, and he says, so I can pretty much do anything. I can imagine as long as I keep my power ring charged. And the person goes, well, how do you know when when you're out of energy? And he goes, I plummet, to the earth. I plummet, to the earth.
That's a good sign. That's an indicator.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only run out of gas on the highway once, and it was like during finals week in college when I was just like, oh, I just don't have time. And I was coming back. I was like taking classes at like 2 universities, like Maine University. I was taking like another, university, like, you can only take 23 credits. I'm like, I need like 29 to graduate. So I'm like taking, and I was like finals week driving and like on the highway, and like the car just goes, I'm like, nice. Oh no. But can you imagine, like, that's scary enough being like on a California highway without gas. Can you imagine like flying along and like somebody's just out of power, like just 30,000 feet, and you have plenty of time to contemplate your death before you hit the crust.
Man,
I love the fact that DC has actually added in a thing of there is like, and like normal cars, there is a reserve for a Green Lantern power ring that will actually, protect you for a little while. It's like, it's like the,
I was gonna say, like, I feel like later on they kind of cheated by having the ring actually talking and saying, hey, by the way, you got to charge your ring. It's like, no, come on, that's cheating. Like, but
reminder.
But yeah, I mean, I love characters like that as well. I mean, some of my favorite stories are things like when Spider-Man has to be Spider-Man, but he's got a cold.
Right.
You never saw that, with other things. It's like if Batman was out of action, it's because Bane broke his back.
But then you can't get the awesome scene where he's like, I'm shoo, and then just sprays web fluid everywhere.
No. I think the actual thing that happens is like he sneezes and he's like, oh, in the mask. It's like he had real problems, which was a unique way to do it. Now I think the other guys, DC, I mean, it's just telling different kinds of stories, and that stuff is great, one way or the other. And that's the same thing with Necessary Evil. You get the chance to tell different kinds of stories, and I will add that I did try to throw some Easter eggs in for some people there. Nevermore, his appearance there at the end helping out.
That was your background, or is still your background, sir? Christian's got like.
Oh yes, there he is. Yeah, that's from Necessary. That's from Breakout, where he has a more prominent role.
Yeah,
and so yeah,
not Nightwing.
He's not Nightwing. He was the Raven, and he was the sidekick of the Owl, who was a completely different person.
That's right.
Yeah. But again, I'm not giving it all away, Raven. I'm just saying, I just threw in some stuff there, and I threw in some just for me, like Todd.
That was great.
I'm pretty sure you didn't know what Todd was out of character either, Christian. Like, I did.
I had no idea. I was like, what the heck is Todd? Like,
so, yeah. Todd is actually, as Jody says, Todd. That was from when I ran Necessary Evil Breakout for Jody and my daughter. And I said when they created the team, tell me the member of your team who's no longer with you and why. And they both kind of looked at each other. They kind of went for a second until they came up with Todd. Yeah, Todd. And it was always a case
Todd.
of, dang, darn it, Todd. You know? Yeah.
That's
So, and Todd was a technopath that in the storyline ended up being turned into a drone because they did not realize his power. And he got damaged in a fight, which damaged his control unit and allowed him to take control of other drones for a while. So the Todd you met was they recovered that body, and he had that technopathic ability imbued into other drones because it also made him hard to control and took him offline of the regular drones. So Dr. Rawadwe needed some drones that he could trust weren't transmitting information back to Grippon, which is also why he didn't have any drones as security around his house. He doesn't trust the very thing that he makes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought you did a great job of making Dr. Rawadwe somebody that you can empathize with. When once and it was that was so brilliant when Jen possessed him and was able to recall all his memories. Oh, that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. I love the fact that she broke you. It was great.
Oh no, she did. I mean, that was an absolutely brilliant move, and I'm like going, why did I tell them about power stunts? Oh no. I'm like, this is absolutely something that fits what Ghost Witch could be able to do with a power stunt and doing that. And that was brilliant. And honestly, I mean, for me as a GM, it was like, when I made it, I'm like, there's a very good chance they'll never know his motivation. And she allowed me to open that up because, I mean, it was supposed to be kind of this dark mirror of he's at this point because his relationship was destroyed and he wasn't valuing it enough at the time. And it's like, what about you guys? What you've got? Are you going to hold on to it? Are you going to fight for it? Because he kind of felt like he didn't and lost out on that. So yeah, it was supposed to be a whole deal. But yeah, the fact that she basically, I'm like, well, the whole key to this is he knows something most people don't know. So there's a big spoiler for everybody watching. Yeah,
it was kind of funny because like going into it, I was thinking about Iron Skull and some of the secrets that he had in his mind, and then Ghost Witch, being on the field. He was a little worried about it, but he also knew that she's one of the more powerful members of the team. So once that happened, I was like, no, I'm glad she's here. So glad she's here. Yeah.
Do you want to let everybody in on the secret of why Iron Skull would have been more concerned?
So Iron Skull, because he's a control freak pretty much, he has a habit of being the one to take out the trash. And at one point, he goes to take out the trash from the bathroom shortly after Ghost Witch had come out of it, and there was a pregnancy test in it, and it was positive. And so that's all Clint told me, by the way. So I'm thinking, holy shit, she's pregnant, right? Like, and then apparently there's some secret between Ghost Witch and Slash, right? And that they were sharing with each other, and I didn't know what it was or anything. So I was thinking, like, oh my gosh, she's pregnant, right? So in the aftermath, after when we were at the pizza place and talking, I said, we need to talk about your pregnancy. She's like, what?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not pregnant.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? Like, well, and then I just looked over at Diane, and I was like, and then I think Adam also like kind of whiplashed his neck and was like, what? So that was really cool. And but do you want to share the actual like what came after that?
I mean, really, if we play again, I don't know that we're starting from the the pepperoni, the pizza ogre restaurant right there at that time. But
right.
Yeah, they at that point, she revealed what her real secret was when she pulled out a ring and asked Iron Skull to, get hitched, as I believe she put it. I think we should just go ahead and get hitched.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah,
because and
We're pulling out a wedding for the series finale.
that's right.
that's right.
I remember
Yeah,
because I think it was like 6 years that Ghost Witch had disappeared before they met up again.
yeah, about
And I
that.
think, and my reaction was like, I lost you for 6 years. I don't want to ever lose you again. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Like I said, you should have seen the role playing after we turned off
We
the
weren't
cameras, right?
recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't
We're too
recording.
busy,
And,
killing drones and stuff, man. I mean,
Yes.
we got a mission. We got a mission to do.
Yes. And they also discovered that pregnancy test may not have been accurate because Tessa was using it to perform chemistry experiments.
Right. DNA tests.
The 5-year-old
specifically.
super genius. So,
That's right. That was how. Wasn't that how she found out? About the she was using it for DNA testing or something?
Well,
like that?
she was, not necessarily for you and figuring out who her father
right.
was necessarily, but also just other chemistry tests and things.
Right.
I mean,
Tinkering.
that was part of the things. That was part of a secret that even y'all didn't know. That was the reveal. There is that Tessa's kind of kept hidden the fact of how really, really smart she is. Like, beyond kind of what you or your brother or your father had even met at that age. And so she's still a 5-year-old girl, which I loved because Jody helped out a lot of. I was like, I had to go to a site to find technobabble for her to say for science. But then I went to Jody and it was like, but what would a 5-year-old say? And one I didn't, I think I got to use once maybe was the mommy, I got to go pee. Like in the arbor, it's like, yeah. And and also the one we didn't use is if someone had gotten hurt, if people hadn't given you so many bennies and things, I mean, to get through the soaking was mommy can kiss it and make it better. No, really, she can, because
Literally.
mommy has the healing power.
That's right.
And it's based off touch. She really does kiss it and make it better.
Not bad for someone who's undead too. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Semi-undead.
Semi-undead. Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so that
Yeah,
was,
I love the part where cause now that I put it together after the fact, but where I was struggling because I was rolling I was failing or critical failures and stuff. And then the Iron Skull basically says, "Did you try blah 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 blah?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, why didn't I think of that?" And then now realizing after the fact that was actually Tessa, who was basically telling him how to disarm the bomb.
Right.
That was really cool.
Have you tried synchronizing the triphase, variation or whatever it was? There's a whole lot of. There's a whole site for finding technobabble, by the way, out there, guys. The internet is fantastic, just coming up with stuff. And that was a lot of prep, but yes, I mean it's just coming through that electronic voice. But it's like because and we did cover the fact that Tessa had basically reverse engineered the text thing to be able to hear everything going on around you.
God.
Or tapped into it to be able to do that. More to the point of, it kind of did that. She just figured out how to way to get it to tell her what it was doing.
Right.
So but you guys, I mean, there was, a lot of fun, and of course, all of these things I talked to the players about. The ladies decided that they're good friends, so they actually had shared their secrets that Ghost Witch was going to propose, and that Slash was obviously dealing with the fact that she had found out she's pregnant, which Ghost Witch, having had a daughter, kind of definitely sympathized with that thing, and having a thing of it's kind of. I'm not sure how long it's been. So is it Dead Eyes or is it Burns?
Right.
Is it her current boyfriend or the old boyfriend? And, these were some, I will say these were, I don't know. They're the kind of thing that you definitely talk to the player about of, hey, are you cool with this?
Yeah.
This is where we're going. And, when I talked to Diana, she was like 100%. Yes, I am. Oh, this is fun. This is going to be fun. But I also love seeing the fact that you guys got into it so much that it was a case of, I've got that secret. Let's go. This is, it's like, why are you going upstairs with that cramp, you know.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
it was fun, but yeah, I mean,
So does this mean you're committing to running more of these, Clint? Is that what we're saying right now?
that's what I'm hearing.
There's so much more story that needs to be told,
no.
and we also need more pies and faces on camera, not just
Either that or more fiction. One of the two has to happen. So,
Ah, I mean, that's something you guys could totally put out there for Pinnacle, that we should do a whole nother series of Wendigo tales about Necessary Evil, and
Well,
I mean,
that's the thing too. If folks haven't checked it out yet, the Soundbooth Theater has got an awesome list of Necessary Evil and other PEG fiction.
Yes.
One is
Oh,
your
yeah.
story, but
Yeah, Soundbooth Theater, the Necessary Evil line was one of the first ones they did, and working with Jeff on that, because obviously you guys can go and you can see the super short story that I wrote. It's free to download at Pinnacle, and you can hear it as a freebie at Soundbooth Theater. Faces of Destruction, which is actually from Dr. Destruction's point of view. You can read that and hear that for free. But when Jeff did that, I love the fact that he came to me wanting to work on making sure he got these voices right and doing these stories right and everything. And it's
good.
yeah,
so
it's
good.
amazing to hear. It is. They did such a good job for that. It's so amazing to hear, and it you can read the story and hear, the audiobook, and it's, and get different things out of it. It's really great. But yeah. So yeah, tell them we need more fiction, or yeah, maybe we'll do something else again. I mean, there's a few other games on the burner, and there's definitely some very deserving charities out there that we could help out.
Oh yeah.
And but maybe can Jody get the pie next time?
yeah, well, if we get to $3,000, yes. The answer is yes.
Yes.
We can have awesome. We could. I mean, I almost want to see Jody get pied just to see the look on your face, because her face was precious. So we'll just see if Turnabout's fair play, just how happy it is, Clint.
Yeah.
I will probably look frightened for my life. Like I'm not going to be able to get away from her fast enough. That will be the look I have. It's like
just don't hold it.
I'll have my hand on the pie, like ready to run as soon as I let go.
And what if we reach 3,000 when you guys are in Japan? You'll have to do like the phone it in from Japan and do like rice cake in the face or something fun.
Yes. Yeah. Jody is not getting pie in the face when we're in Japan. She is not. She is not using up 1 minute of that time for that.
Too much to do. Too much to do, man. Yep.
Yeah.
No, it was also awesome that like both your daughters showed up in the comments for your birthday.
That was cool. It was really cool seeing them both in there.
Yeah, that was great. Actually, our oldest sent us a picture. She had actually set up the stream on a large TV at school.
Oh wow!
And she sent us a picture of that, of how they had it set up to watch, and she said it was a little bit tricky for her to do be in chat because of how they had it set up to do it. But I was like, oh, that's phenomenal. That's great. Meanwhile, I believe the other one was watching on the train in Japan. On the train. Yeah. But we have hey, it was a great time. Definitely there was some learning to go on there, but still we had fun, and it was for a great cause, and it's awesome. And if anybody has any questions on the game, or running it, or Savage Worlds in general, or anything like that, or if there was anything you wanted to know about, any questions you had lingering, Christian, from last night that you were like, what was that about?
Well,
feel free to let me know.
I was curious because we had Ice Queen show up at the pizza place, right?
Right.
And I was curious as to what was her MO showing up there?
It did seem to be a very, very odd coincidence that she showed up there with her team, actually providing a little bit of thing up, and you guys did a great job. I mean, you not only stopped a bomb that could have destroyed the entire city and sections of the Atlantic Ocean. You, because of what Jin did, you captured Dr. Rawadwe, who had a warp shunt and easily could have gotten away if things had gone too bad. And there's multiple ways he could have, he could have died, he could have been killed, he could have gotten away. You guys still captured him after all of that and got him in, which puts a bit of a serious dent in the whole drone program, which he was really working on as well, in addition to his private stuff. So you guys did really good. And when an Omega cell does really good, sometimes Dr. Destruction might be sure that they get a little bonus.
Nice.
So he basically set it up so Tessa got something very special. She got to meet Mariel, the little sea princess, who is now Ice Queen, the supervillain in another Omega cell. And also it was there for my wife, Jody, because that was her character in the original playtest.
Yeah, no, that was yet another emotional moment, like having Tessa's reaction to seeing her hero that, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to play the pie video one more time because we promised we get it.
All right.
And then when we get back on the other side, we got a couple more minutes. We have to finish on time though, because we got a stream coming up just after this with Jeff Gordon.
Yes, the awesome Jeff Gordon.
But I do want to have Christian be able to tell us about Savage Eberron and all the stuff going on there. So we'll give you a couple minutes to pimp your wares, sir.
Yeah.
So here one more time on the pie. That's just means we have to.
Okay. And we really appreciate everything you guys have done, all the donations, just being here watching, having fun, enjoying the game. And
the look of knowing what's coming.
Here's what you get for it.
Yes.
At this point, I'm ready to tap out.
Love it, Jody. Love it. Oh, yeah.
Now, this is just gratuitous, though. When she wipes the extra on my face.
That's the payoff right there. It's good look, good look.
Wait, is that White Skull? Is that what that is?
I just love that you have whipped cream on your eyelashes because
yes,
that was special. So, Christian, lead us out, sir. What's going on, Savage Eberron? What's going on?
Yeah, so I've been collecting a lot of feedback, an idea inspired by PEG and how they handle, alpha PDFs and whatnot. So I've been collecting some feedback, and I'm going to be doing some minor clarifications and corrections in the PDF and in the Google Doc, and we'll get that out. Probably, I think Carl's going to be out of pocket for a little bit. We'll get the PDF updated later, but we might get the Google Doc updated sooner. And speaking of Savage.us, it'll be available on there very soon as I get some of these corrections in there. And we'll have that ready and available on there. So I'm sure, maybe Jeff will mention it. I don't know.
Yeah, and I can tell you here with absolute certainty that in the new version of Eberron, all Talentans start 2 ranks higher than every other character. And even in games that are going, they automatically get 8 advances, not 4, 8 advances. Because they're the best. They're the best people ever.
Just because Jen ruined your supervillain doesn't mean you need to ruin all of Christian's. Clint.
Yeah, nice try, man. Nice try.
Stop it, Jody.
Thank you, Jody, for keeping him honest.
Yeah. It is available. I think you've got it on itch.io now.
Yes, so it's up on itch.io. And if you want the PDF, it's on itch.io. But both the itch.io listing and, I think our website has the link to the Google Doc. That's free. And the cool thing about the Google Doc is you can make a copy in your own Google Doc account, or you can download it in one of many formats that Google Doc allows you to save it as. Whether it's HTML, RTF files, Word documents, and so on. So if you want to take it and rework it into something that works for you and your table, have at it. So it's there and it's available for anybody to do that with. So, yeah.
That is awesome. And so, guys, go pick it up, shoot some money Jen and Christian's way, because this was a many-year labor of love. it is awesome. You've got all the right permissions, but apparently because of a what do you call it, exclusivity agreement at Drive Thru RPG, they can't let you post it there. Which is like, right. Drive Thru RPG's lost, but make sure it's not Christian's lost. Make sure it's their game.
So not to call them out, but I was looking at the swag page again, and it actually explicitly mentions conversions of settings from other systems.
So
like,
yeah, it's not a problem on our end. It's not like it's
Right.
It's literally the D&D's agreement with
Right.
Like we were great with it.
So it's like they allow the
Yeah.
idea, just not Wizards of the Coast stuff. So
Right, just not
Yeah.
Wizards.
yeah.
So yeah, blame Wizards.
No, I don't blame Wizards. They let me do this, so
That's true.
I think it's just it's a case where Savage Eberron or Eberron for Savage Worlds is so unique. It's a fan produced thing. It is available for free and everything, but it's of such a high production value and so well done and everything like that it's like, yeah, this, putting this out as like fan content and everything like that. It's just, if we go and let you do it, then it's kind of like the old problems you used to have with the OGL, where people didn't read the license well enough.
Yeah.
They'd see what other people do and then thought it was okay and didn't realize, no, those people didn't follow the license and now you're not. And it kind of cascades out a little bit. But it is out there. It's available. Go. Enjoy.
Good. Thank you. Yeah. Enjoy it. Let me know what you think of it. So.
Oh, it's good stuff.
Thanks.
So with that, folks, let's see. We are going to be immediately following this. I'm gonna throw up 2 links right now. So if you guys are watching on Twitch, you could just keep on the channel, and we'll go dark for about a minute or whatever, and then JM will pick up with Jeff. If you are on YouTube, let me put this on the YouTube comments. There's going to be a new link for the Jeffrey Gordon video. So that is now. If you're on YouTube, you can click on that link. In a minute here when we go dark, and you go to the new video for the Savage Universe of Jeffrey Gordon. And then if you are watching via Facebook, I will shoot you guys up a link here right now. And
I want to, while he's setting that up, I want to say one last time, thank you all so much. We started this thing, the MS streaming and how they support it is fantastic. And I think they've been doing that for about a year. We looked out there, they start with like $100 goal. We decided to start with that. Put up the Facebook page. That got blown out of the water. Chris says, let's put a pie in the face. And now that we hit $1,000, you guys just blew things out of the way. We're at $1,742. You have no idea how far beyond what I thought we might do with this. You guys did. And you made all of that happen. Everybody out there. And we appreciate it so much. We really do. Thank you so much.
Yes, it was awesome, and I think we were the number 3. We were another number 3 money raiser on this year's program because of the amount of cash we got through, which is great. So, and then the MS Society showed up in our stream and listened to the story. But it wasn't just a bot; they were actually commenting. It was awesome. So.
Yeah, they actually sent me a thank you on Twitter. Like personally, just sent me a contact thing, thanking me for doing it. Those folks are fantastic and awesome.
So that's our hour. It is the top of the hour. We got to go.
Yep.
See you later, folks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Jeffrey Gordon. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah.